I know, you really want to get back to that awesome podcast you were just listening to, but this awesome podcast has given me a quick time slot to pitch you my awesome podcast, Black Flare. We are a tabletop RPG actual play podcast using the Delta Green gaming system. It's like we're playing Dungeons and Dragons, but in place of fantasy, it's more akin to the X-Files or True Detective. If you like audio dramas, suspense, and a bit of horror, I think you should give Black Flare a listen. Thanks for sticking through my pitch. Happy listening.
Welcome back to Rewind Rewatch. I am Andrene.
And I'm Joel. And that's Lola, my cat.
I know, she wanted to get on the mic.
Collar.
Shake your tail feather.
Shout out to Lola.
Shout out. We are siblings born in the 80s who are rewatching 90s movies and discussing how well they've aged. We will talk about quotes, themes, the characters, and then we'll also, at the end of the episode, give the movie a rewind rating between 1 and 5 to basically discuss how likely it is we will watch the movie again. Today we're talking about As Good as It Gets from 1997 with a 2-hour and 19-minute runtime. And this was requested by Megan.
Shout out to Megan. Right, so As Good as It Gets. So Jack Nicholson, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
When you think of Jack Nicholson, what comes to mind?
First and foremost is The Shining.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Here's Johnny. Like, that's all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. I mean, that's, and Stephen King, you know how I feel about him.
I was just having a conversation with a coworker about The Shining.
Oh.
Where basically he said that he and a friend of his, I don't remember the basis of the story. I think the friend had like a death in the family or something, and they were kind of just like hanging out. And it was around Christmas time, and he was kind of consoling his friend. The Shining came on, and they watched it together.
Okay.
And it's become like an annual thing with him and his friend now, where they like watch The Shining every Christmas.
So sweet.
Yeah.
So
that's his Christmas movie.
What about you?
The first thing I think about is the LA Lakers, just as a sports fan. Jack Nicholson is like synonymous with being like LA Spike Lee. Not so much now because he's like really old, so you don't really see him at the games anymore. But the 80s and 90s for sure, even the 2000s when they had Shaq and Kobe, he was always on the front, courtside. But then I also think about One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, and I think of Batman.
Yeah, that was my second one. The Joker, a very crazy Joker he was.
And I like that. I also think of that meme of him nodding, vicious, just looking evilly nodding. I think it's from Anger Management, that movie he did with Adam Sandler. I think it's from that movie.
I love that meme.
It's a great meme.
It's fantastic. We also have Helen Hunt. Mad About You, baby.
Yeah, I mean, that's...
And Twister.
That is basically what yes. Mad About You.
Mad About You, though. 92 to 2019.
That's ridiculous.
That's a long time.
That's ridiculous.
Oh, my God.
You know what's funny is... I mean, this is going to sound like I'm hating. And I'm not really, because I don't think I've even ever watched this show. But, like, I've never heard anybody even bring this show up. It was on air for 17 seasons. I've never heard anyone say it's one of their favorite shows. I've never heard anyone mention it in their top 10 favorite sitcoms. Nobody ever talks about the show. It was on for 17 years. Somebody was obviously watching it. And
that's wild.
I wonder what that says about just like sitcoms in the 90s. Like, I feel like they were just a lot of them. And also they were just kind of like ratings machines. Like, people just watched sitcoms. Even if they weren't that good.
Yeah, it's easy. It's 30 minutes. It's like... Oh, wait, I think I'm wrong. It's saying 7 seasons, not 17.
Okay, that's a huge difference.
That's why I wanted to Google. I'm like, that seems like a lot.
Okay, 7 seasons, not 17 seasons.
No, 7 seasons.
Even still. I mean, like, what was the other one? Dharma and Greg?
Oh, God.
That had to have at least like 5 seasons. Yeah. I don't know anyone that watched that show.
Yeah, although it's like...
Becker?
It's like I know
Watch Becker.
It's like I know what it is, but I've never seen an episode.
Nah.
But anyway, that was your show.
Yeah, shout out to her.
Shout out to her. We also have Greg Kinnear, who we saw in our very first episode. You Got Mail.
Greg Kinnear I don't remember who
Greg
did he play?
Kinnear was the boyfriend that your girl was like not really cheating on, but she was hiding that she was talking to Tom Hanks on her computer.
The one who was like waxing poetic about the value of typewriters.
Correct.
Yes.
Correct. And then of course we have Cuba Gooding Jr. We saw him, Boys in the Hood.
Yeah.
And he plays Frank,
the art dealer.
Yeah. We also have Skeet Ulrich again. A lot of repeats on this episode.
Yeah. And Jamie Kennedy for a very brief moment.
He was there as well. All right. So before we talk about these characters, because there's a lot to say about them, in one sentence, how would you summarize As Good as It Gets?
A grumpy old man with OCD learns to relate to others by appealing to their needs, I guess. I don't know. What is this movie actually about?
I don't know.
I think because I'm actually asking myself, like, what actually is this movie about? And I'm not sure that I really know the answer, which is why I'm having a hard time doing this. I mean, another way you can say it is like an old man and his artist neighbor and the waitress at the restaurant he likes to frequent all enter one another's lives and learn things about themselves in the process.
Okay, yeah, that's fair.
So I guess this is a little bit more of a fluffier.
So I do need to go back for a second. I know I'm going back and forth with this, but it actually is 2019. I double checked it on IMDb. So apparently they had like the first show. I guess it stopped and they brought it back.
So it was 7 seasons over 17 years.
I don't know. It's just
kind of like how they like.
Well, they had 173 episodes.
That probably is like 2 seasons in the 90s.
Yeah, right. But I just wanted to
ridiculously long. I was watching Martin on Netflix, and I was like, "This season's not over yet." Every season was like 28 episodes. I'm like, I can't believe they used to do this.
That's how it was back then.
And it was normal. We thought that was normal.
Now we get 7 or 8 episodes that are an hour long, and then we got to wait 2 years for the next one.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't really care for that, but
they were churning out 30-minute eps every week for like 9 months.
All right, so let's talk about Melvin. Melvin's the main character. He's played by Jack Nicholson.
Mr. Udall.
This character, man, they really went out of their way to make sure that we hated this guy.
They did go out their way straight out the gate. Like in the first 5 minutes, he abuses a pet and starts spewing racism and homophobia like immediately. So you're like, oh, like this is not a good guy.
Right. And it doesn't let up.
No,
at all.
It doesn't let up.
Like he's yelling at Jewish people at a restaurant. Wait, you talked about the dog, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm like,
that's how the movie starts.
Talk about the dog because that was a lot. Luckily, the dog was okay, guys. So if you're one of those people that's afraid to watch a movie, the dog does not die in this one. So you can watch it. He's also very entitled because the way that he goes to the same restaurant every day, he has to have Carol, the same waitress, serve him every day. He gets the same thing every day. And it's like if she doesn't see to his needs right away, he's getting ready to like walk behind the counter where the employees are. It's like, bro,
no, he doesn't get ready to. He does. He does walk behind the counter. And everyone in the restaurant is just trying to avoid this man. I got to tell you, I was very frustrated watching this.
Tell me why.
I think the biggest frustration I had was just that it felt like everybody was just kind of like letting him act like an asshole the entire movie. It was like, yo, when is someone gonna put him in his place? And the owner of the restaurant or the manager or whatever seems to be like over this guy and is like upset that he keeps coming back. But then it's kind of like, oh, you know, I don't remember, his name was like Mark or something. I had to talk to Mark to make sure that he's letting you sit at your table and da-da-da. I'm like, wait a second. This guy is her manager. Why is the waitress allowed to make decisions on who is able to dine here and who isn't? And it's almost like, man, I wish I could kick him out, but Carol won't let me. Carol works for you.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense at all. And then when he finally gets kicked out of the restaurant, the entire place starts applauding.
Right.
Because apparently they've all experienced his antics before. All the other waitresses are over him.
They refuse to serve him.
Serve him. But then, like, it's like, okay, he's getting banned. They're telling him never come back. But then, like, later in the film, we see him back in the restaurant. So I'm like, what, he just goes back anyway? Like, what was the point of that whole scene? Because he shows up there later with
the dog, right?
Well, he shows up later with Cuba Gooding Jr. But then also he shows up later when she gives him her thank you letter.
You're right.
So it's like, why is he back in the restaurant? I thought he got banned.
Remember, Carol's in charge here, so Carol let him
Carol's
back.
very much not in charge because Carol's also very broke and does not seem to be in charge of any portion of her life.
No, I get that, but I'm just saying, like, the fact that I guess Carol's talked to Mark, whatever the guy's name is, and said, hey, like, he did this nice thing for my son. Let's let him back in. So yeah, okay. So one part of it is definitely like
it was driving me crazy. It's like, why does everybody just like allow him to continue doing? Like, people just need to put him in his place. Enough.
Well, whatchamacallit did, or at least tried to. Frank. Frank is the art dealer played by Cuba's character, and Frank. It almost feels like he plays this dealer who shows Simon's artwork. Simon is played by Kinnear. But it's almost like they also have a relationship going on. Because, you know, Melvin's always saying these homophobic things to them, racist things. I'm not even going to go into the details that were kind of crazy. But it gets to a point where Frank is fed up with the way that Melvin is treating Simon. Mm-hmm. And so he's not intimidated by him at all. And he tries to go for him physically a number of times and gets held back. And eventually he's like, this is too much. And he goes up to him and he's like, basically telling him he has to stop. Like, if I see you hurt him again, basically I'm going to put my foot up your ass or whatever. And then he's like, I hate doing this. I'm basically an art dealer. Like, I don't like to get rough with people.
Mm-hmm. I like Simon. I like him enough to batter you unrecognizable if you verbally abuse him or so much as touch that dog again. Meantime, I'm gonna think of some way that you can make it up to him. I hate doing this! I'm an art dealer. Have a nice day.
And I liked that scene because I felt like it's the fact that it's not his character to be rough. And it's also, I think, the fact that it's like, I'm a black guy and I'm accosting this white guy. And there's a part of it where it's like, I don't want to come off as an angry black person.
Yeah.
Or angry black man.
100%.
I absolutely hate doing this, but you're forcing me because of the way that you're treating me and everybody else in this building. And now at the end, he's like, all right, I'm going to go be happy. And he goes back to this happy-go-lucky character because he's kind of like, I don't want to live in this negative headspace. So when it comes to you, Melvin is low-key afraid of him.
Yeah.
Like, he definitely feels like...
Because it's like...
I got to tighten up around him.
It's also like, oh, this is the one person that's not letting me talk to them however I want.
So the way that you felt about Melvin and the people in the restaurant was the way that I felt about the way they portrayed his mental health. Because he has OCD.
Right.
Right? And to be clear, I'm not a psychiatrist or a psychologist, but I do see a lot of OCD records at my job. And typically when you have OCD, from what I understand, it's people who are stuck doing some type of thing over and over again, whether it's, the switching of the lights on and off, which he does, the
tapping the inside and outside of his slippers before he puts them on in the morning.
No stepping on the cracks, he's also a germaphobe. So it's like he has to bring his own plastic cutlery to the restaurant. he washes his hands with multiple bars of soap each time when he's at home. And
he wears gloves so he doesn't have to touch the doorknob.
Right. So all these things are like adding up to OCD, and I'm like, okay, I get it. But like, I almost feel like they were making it seem like because of the OCD, that's why he was like being bigoted and racist. And I'm like,
yeah,
this is not the same thing. Like,
no,
it doesn't turn you into this curmudgeon because you have OCD.
Yeah, I didn't like that either. And I actually, as I was watching the movie, I had a couple thoughts about that. Number one, I kind of wanted them to give us some insight into what made him this type of person. Because obviously the OCD is not the right answer. We get a glimpse of it during the ride that they take up to Baltimore, where what's my guy's name?
Simon?
Simon is telling the story about what happened between him and his parents. And he's like, oh, big deal. You had a tough life. Everybody had a tough life. And he says something about like his dad being abusive or something.
Yeah.
So we kind of get like a little bit of a glimpse, but it's like, it's not really enough. It's like, okay, so your dad was abusive. So now you're just like this offensive, bigoted, homophobic, inconsiderate person. Like it wasn't enough.
Yeah. I agree.
So I feel like they could have like given us a little bit more of the why. And I feel like it is like, oh, well, he has OCD, but it's like, that doesn't really explain why he's this way. And I think furthermore, like to the point of people giving him too many chances, I was really curious as to why everyone in this restaurant wants this man out. The waitresses all are basically saying, I'm not serving him. Why does Carol continue to serve him?
Yeah.
Because he's also wildly offensive to her. And the first time we see them interact, she cusses him out. So I'm like, wait, so there is not a softer side that she's seen.
Exactly.
So what is it about this man that allows her to continue? And then he's even like showing up to her apartment and she like,
bro,
it's
that
just like,
stuff.
There's so many things where I'm just like, why is she letting this man cook? Like, it just didn't add up to me. Like, you should. And like, this is New York City. Hello. Like, it would have made a lot more sense for her to just cuss him out, and that would have been the end of the movie. But that didn't happen. And I was just very confused about like, what was the soft spot that she had for this man? I don't think that they did a good job of explaining that either.
I think she's just supposed to be a good person. Like, she's the kind of person that, you know, is trying to see the good in people. She sees him as this like lonely man. And I think again, like, it kind of plays into the whole mental health of it all. It's like she feels like, you know, maybe he can't help the way that he is. So, you know, I'll deal with it and I'll help him out. But again, it wasn't very clear. I was kind of like, this guy is trash. Why would I ever be doing this? And if he showed up at my apartment, I would have called the cops. Like, there's no way. And he did it more than one time.
And why did he show up to her apartment?
Because she didn't go to work.
He's like, yo, you took the day off? Like, I can't.
Because her son was sick.
He's like, okay, like.
Not to mention,
I don't work for you. I work for the restaurant.
We learned earlier on that her son has some kind of respiratory illness.
Right.
She and her other waitress are talking about, you know, her son. She had a date that night. And
he can't sleep through the night.
Yeah, he's always coughing. He has trouble breathing.
They can't afford good health care because she's a waitress.
Right. Although they have insurance, but apparently the insurance is trash and it's like not really, you know, giving her the benefits that she actually deserves. And there's actually this one scene that I thought was kind of funny. It was like she brings the date back to her house. And I mean, just bringing a date back there, I think is wild because
it's absolutely insane.
There's no bedroom. She sleeps on the couch, basically, in this living room. I think maybe it's like a 1-bedroom, maybe a 2-bedroom apartment that her mom sleeps in with her. It's her mom, her, and her son, who's very sick. And she's in the living room area with this guy. They're starting to make out on the couch. The boy starts coughing, and she's like, 1 minute. She runs to the back. The boy ends up vomiting on her shirt. She doesn't realize it. And then her date, of course, gets vomit on his hand when he goes to touch her breast. And her mom's like, oh, close the curtain, darling, you know, don't want to interrupt. And it's just, the whole thing is just weird. It's like your mom is next door, your son, there's vomit on your boob. Like, and then she's like, oh, well, either you can leave or we can be adults about this and whatever. And he's like, I'm just going to go. And it's almost like she's like, she's frustrated, which I get, but she's also kind of like, oh, I can't believe he left. And it's like, girl, did you think he was going to stay after that? There's no way.
Yeah, I didn't really get the sense that she was offended. I got more of the sense that she was frustrated because of her having to basically take care of her son, that she has like no dating life. But I didn't read it as like, oh, this guy's a jerk.
No.
I read it more so as like, oh, that's my luck. What can I do? But it's like, why didn't you just go to his place?
That's what I'm saying.
It didn't make any sense.
It made no sense to bring a guy back there.
I live in this 1-bedroom walk-up with my 6th son and my mother. Let's go over here so we can make out. It doesn't make any sense at all.
So do you think...
I wouldn't bring a date back to my house if I lived with my parents.
Yeah.
Even if I had my own bedroom, I wouldn't do that.
That's
Never mind
weird.
a 1-bedroom with my parent and my child.
Yeah, that's weird. It's very weird. So I'm going to skip ahead here, but do you think that that's why she ends up with Melvin? Because it's kind of like, well, this guy's interested in me and he understands I have a kid. And yes, of course, he does end up helping the kid. Do you think, I guess that's a big part of it, is the fact that like I have been very successful and this opportunity is here?
So this movie makes me growl. I hated their love story so much.
Yeah, you had
I hated
to.
it.
You
It
had
was
to.
so not well done. Like, I don't know how else to say it. Like, what? That's all I kept saying. What? So, all right. So the question is the reason that she falls for him because he basically is attracted to her, and she basically doesn't get dates. She doesn't meet any guys.
Right. And he helps her
and this
son.
guy's here, and he understands that I have my 6th son, and she's helping him get better. And he scored a goal. He scored a goal for his soccer team. Yeah, I guess. But it also feels kind of like, number one, you're just kind of like settling for whoever's around.
Yeah.
And number two, you agonize over taking his money because you feel like he's only using it as a ploy to sleep with you. Mm-hmm. And so you're like, I cannot believe you did this. I'm so offended. I'm not going to sleep with you. I don't know if that's why you're giving me this money. Then he's like, no, I just wanted to give you the money. And then she's like, okay, cool. I like you now. Let's kiss.
That was so clumsy.
It's like, what?
It was so clumsy. Not to mention that...
I can't tell if you're talking about the character or the writing. But
no, I meant the writing.
Okay.
I meant the writing.
I was like, it's kind of both.
No,
but...
I meant the writing for sure. So one of the big problems I had with their whole interaction was, yes, so she comes forward and basically says, like, I'm never going to sleep with you, blah, blah. And he's like, no, I don't really want that. I'm cool. Okay, fine. Then later on, poor Simon goes through a whole thing, which I guess we'll talk about later, but he wants to go see his family because he needs money and he wants to ask them in person. And they're taking this trip to Baltimore, and Melvin has to be the one to drive him up there. And Melvin basically invites Carol along, and she's like, yeah, I'm not really trying to be in a car with you to go to Baltimore, like for like a overnight or like a weekend trip. Like, I'm not trying to do that. And then she's like, wait, are you basically trying to say that I owe you a favor because of my son and I need to go with you? And he's like, I mean, basically. And I was like, wait, what? So now, so you're not trying to sleep with her, but you are going to basically hold up the fact that her son is getting free healthcare from you. Mm-hmm. In return, she has to go on this weekend, whatever, with you. And then when they're there, she decides that she wants him to take her out dancing, which again, I'm like, I would not want to go out with this man, but okay, fine.
Yeah,
like,
I wouldn't even
me.
want to stay in the same hotel suite with him.
No.
Never mind, go out.
Yeah. So they go out dancing and they're having this whole thing, and she's like falling for him now, which again, I did not buy at all. And he basically reveals that the reason why he invited her was because he thought that by inviting her, she would sleep with Simon and then basically make him straight.
I thought one thought, maybe if if you had sex with Simon, maybe it would...
What?
Well, it's one idea.
That's why you brought me? Like I'm a what? And I owe you what?
I don't know why I brought you. It was just one thought that I had. It came out first. That was all there was to it. I thought, you kiss him, me, when you two seemed to hit it off. Wait, I didn't mean... Forget what I said about Simon.
I'll never forget you said it.
It's a mistake. It was a mistake.
And I was like,
I'm about to growl again.
I was like, what in the world is happening? Not only is it insensitive and rude, but it's like, you think she's just gonna sleep with this guy? Like, because you asked her to? Like, what?
But also, it was not clear to me, why did he want her to have sex with Simon?
Because he says to Simon, like, earlier on, like, do you think it would be easier if you liked women? Like, or like, if you weren't this way?
So he's trying to help
him
him out?
You're trying to help him out by turning him straight? Like, it was very, like, this is terrible. Like, everything about it was just terrible. It was very icky and also made no sense at the same time.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So it was like...
I'm kind of grossed out by this, but also I'm very confused. And then she's just like, oh, I can't believe you said that to me. I'm leaving. Huh. And she leaves off in a tizzy. But then it's like, again, how and why does this man keep getting so many chances?
So many.
I feel like he... right off bat, he says something to her at the restaurant about like, oh yeah, we're all gonna die, including your son.
Yeah.
That's when she cusses him out.
Right.
Then he shows up to her apartment talking about, why aren't you at work?
Crazy.
Then he's doing all this crazy, oh yeah, I only brought you on this trip so you could sleep with my gay neighbor.
Ugh. Oof.
Mind you, after she kissed him, he did this.
Yeah. We're just like, bro, what are you even thinking? And then, after all that, he goes back to her apartment at 4 a.m. uninvited.
That's right.
At 4 a.m.
Asked her to go for a walk.
And then her mom's kind of like, well, give him a chance. Mom, what are you talking about? Why are these mothers?
Well, her mom... well, you got to talk about that because there is a scene where she gets visibly upset. Carol gets visibly upset, starts yelling at her mother. And her mother's like, yo, like, why are you yelling at me? And it basically comes out that she's just like sexually frustrated. Mm-hmm. It's like, well, girl, that's not my fault. Why are you yelling at me about it? I just wanted to take you out. Can we go out to get something to eat? And she's like, okay, fine, mom. But it's like, that whole relationship, to me, just felt like the mom was trying to help her and she was kind of ungrateful and also just like taking out her frustration. So I'm sure mom's probably looking at it like, well, finally you can go get some because you've been yelling at me for the past 2 months.
So what were your thoughts, speaking of the mom? So backing up a little bit, we find out the son is very sick. And after Melvin learns that she's not at work because her son is sick, he goes to like his book publisher or something. And it turns out his publisher is married to like this renowned doctor. And so he calls in a favor, basically like, yo, have your husband go to this waitress's home and do house visits, like basically tend to this little boy. Oh, and I'll cover all the expenses. So the doctor shows up and ends up treating her son. And she's talking to her mom about it. And she's like, Mom, this guy is crazy. Like, I cannot take this help and invite that level of crazy like into my life and into my son's life. And the mom says to her, like, this is not like a necklace or something you can just return. Like, you don't send this gift back. What were your thoughts on that scene?
I mean, mom's kind of right.
That's how I felt too.
Like, you really can't send this gift back because your son's sickness is making your life a living hell. Not to mention, it's like lowering your son's value, like your son's quality of life. Mm-hmm. So not only would this improve your quality of life, it would also improve that for your son.
As well as mom.
And your mother. So it's like, yeah, you don't want to accept a gift from this guy who's crazy, who within a week and a half, she's kissing him on the mouth.
Well.
But Yeah, I mean, you kind of have to. She also says to her mom, like, man, that doctor was so great. It's a shame he was married because I would have slept with him. It's like, wait, what?
I missed that line. Holy.
She didn't say it in those words, but she said something along the lines of like, it's a shame he was married.
Yikes.
I can't tell if she was joking or not, but
Probably
it's
not.
still a joke that you probably
Probably
didn't
not.
need to make.
Yeah.
Because it's the same conversation where she ends up crying about how she doesn't get any.
Yeah.
So who knows?
I mean,
her mom's just like, all right, man, like, I don't know what to do with this information.
Anybody.
Like, can we just go get something to eat, please?
Yeah, I get what the mom was saying for sure. And I think at the end of the day, I would have accepted it. But it's also like, you do feel kind of cautious because it's like, bro, this guy, who knows what he's going to do now? Like, I'm kind of giving him the green light to just now be in my life.
The other thing is like, okay, whether or not Melvin wanted to sleep with her, which frankly, I don't think he did. I think he was attracted to her, but I don't think he was like trying to sleaze his way into her bed. What I do think he was doing, though, was very clearly using his money and influence, and like it was like a fake nice thing to do, but really he just wanted her to go back to work.
Right.
So it's like, yo, I just need my routine back.
Right.
So if I have to pay for your son's medical expenses to get you back serving me my flapjacks and bacon, then fine, that's what I'll do. But it didn't seem like he was doing it out of the goodness of his heart. It was just all for his own selfish reasons.
Yeah,
So then it's like that shouldn't have endeared you to him either, because he doesn't do it for himself. Then this trip to Baltimore that you're only on because he coerced you to be there, which he then tries to pawn you off on a gay man. And then
he has the audacity to like, he asked him the next day. So basically overnight, Simon, he's an artist, he's a painter. He ends up drawing Carol nude. Like, not in a sexual way. He just kind of was like, oh, you have like a really nice necklines, and I have to paint you, or I have to draw you.
Well, of course, that's how he started. That's how he became an artist, by drawing nudes of his mother.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. That story, I was like, bro.
Like, wait, what?
What is happening here?
Your parents don't talk to you anymore. Why does your mother talk to your father anymore? Because that man should have been like, this is not cool.
Yeah, that is so bizarre. He's like, it was just art. I'm like, yeah, your mom should have known better than that. That's really inappropriate. But anyway, he ends up drawing Carol, and then they spend the night together, like, just, laughing and joking and whatever. The next morning, they're both in robes. Melvin walks in, and he's like accusing Simon, like, did you sleep with her? And it's like, first of all, whoa, it's none of your business. Like, he was like almost like angry about the fact that they might have had sex. And it's like, who are you to even
like it was
have...
his property.
Yeah, that really annoyed me. It's like, bro, who are you to say anything about the situation?
Yeah.
And actually, did you want them to have sex? So which is it?
I was very confused by his response, not only when he said, yeah, maybe you would sleep with Simon, but then like, she got upset, she walked away. He's just like stuttering, like, I don't know, that's just what came to my head. But then it's like, what? Like, it wasn't even clear to me if that's actually what he wanted, or if I don't know. Like, I don't know. That line, like, it just didn't make any sense to me. It just felt like clunky writing. But anyway, yeah. The other thing, I think the context there is the fact that, like, Simon, who we really haven't talked about yet, but like, he has all this stuff happen to him.
Man,
he's like, he gets assaulted. He
was set up.
Is losing his apartment. He's going broke, and he has sunk very deep into a hole of depression. And so when Carol basically leaves Melvin at dinner and comes back to the hotel, she's like, I'm definitely not staying in that man's room. Which, did they only have 2 rooms? But anyway, she comes into Simon's room because she's like, I'm not going to stay with him. Can I take a shower here? So he's like, okay, whatever. And then that's when he sees her nude from the back and starts drawing, and it basically like sparks his creativity back that he had lost. So they're having like this bonding moment, number one, because she actually asked him about his childhood. to get the story about why he had a falling out with his parents. She helped him to start creating again.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, like, put the first smile on his face that he'd had in months. So they, like, kind of have this now bond and relationship. And, yeah, Melvin bursting into the suite and, like, demanding all these answers was just, like...
crazy.
Bro, like, we actually don't, like, need you in this equation anymore. Like,
no.
We can just be friends.
Right.
And you're just the crazy old man who lives next door. Like,
right.
And that should have just kind of been how the movie ended.
It should have been, but then somehow Simon ends up moving in with Melvin.
Oh, that's right, because he loses his apartment.
He lost his apartment. But I'm thinking, like, yo, what happened to my man Cuba?
Well, this is the whole thing.
Like,
right?
he just bounced, like, oh, you don't got no money?
Well, I don't think that's what happened. Like, another kind of thing that was confusing to me about this movie is the way that they painted Cuba's character, which was like, are we supposed to believe that he's, like, kind of, like, bailing on his friend? Because I felt like that was kind of an unfair way to paint this relationship when actually they're not friends at all. He's his art dealer. And from that perspective, he's done way more than he really needed to.
It's more than that. Because remember, when he goes to Melvin and he cusses him out, he's like, I like Simon. I really like Simon. Like, I felt like it was, like, more than just my friend. Like, I was getting more like, I like Simon.
Oh, I didn't get that at all.
Oh, I was getting, like, I like Simon. And so that's why I was like, because even, like, when he was going to, like, see his family, he's like, yeah, I know I should be one that's taking you. And I was like, well, why aren't you? Like, it just seems like, bro, why are you not stepping up if you like him so much? Like, I didn't understand.
I thought he meant to, like, I like him, like, he's a good guy and he's a good client. But I didn't get any vibes from them. Okay.
Well, maybe I'm reading it wrong, but I was kind of
maybe I'm reading it wrong. I don't know. I just didn't.
But I was just like, bro, like, why? Are you, either it's just a friend thing. It still is like, if y'all are that close, why are you not like? So relying on this guy to take him? Like, that didn't make sense.
And I think that was kind of my point. Is like, I couldn't get a good idea of like how close they actually were. Like, are they supposed to be friends? Are they supposed to be close friends? Are they supposed to be business associates? Are they supposed to just be like, I couldn't get a good idea of that. And like, when we meet him at the beginning, he's trying to sell art. They're having like basically an art show / party in his house. Mm-hmm. And he obviously is aware of the financial situation because he's the one that's dealing the art. And then he's like helping him with getting back on his feet after he comes out the hospital. He makes sure that Mr. Udall takes Simon's dog. He's working with Simon's she's kind of like a housemaid to like clean up his apartment and all this other stuff. Mm-hmm, and I'm like, if he's just this guy's art dealer, he's actually doing way more than he needs to. Right. So it really would not be a fair expectation for him to do anything more than he's already done. But if they're supposed to be like best friends, then you could say, hey, he's kind of bailing on him. I just couldn't tell. And I don't feel like they really explained to us what their relationship was. So then it's kind of just up to the viewer to decide, is this guy doing too much or not enough?
I thought it was not enough. That was my read.
And that is exactly my complaint.
I was like, bro, like, this guy just left him high and dry. Like, I didn't understand. Like, where did he go? That he's forced to live with Melvin. So the first time we see Melvin starting to soften is because of the dog. He ends up watching Simon's dog when Simon is recovering in the hospital after he gets assaulted. And at first, I mean, in the very first scene, like Joel said, he throws the dog down the trash chute. So he hated this little dog because the dog would pee in the apartment. It would piss him off. And now he gets stuck watching this dog. And he starts to really care for this little thing. There's a scene, I think it's the first time the dog actually pees outside. He's like, yeah, good dog. And he starts like smiling and like holding the dog. He goes to eat lunch at the cafe, and this is the first time he's able to change his table because he wants to be able to have a good line of sight to see the dog outside. He sees kids playing with the dog. It brings a smile to his face. There's a scene where he's playing on the piano and he's singing this like really upbeat, like happy song that didn't seem to fit with Melvin's character at all.
Always look at the bright side of your life.
I was like, what? I did not expect him to play that on the piano. So you see like this dog is like slowly coming in and like warming this heart of ice. And I mean, I guess that was there to kind of show how animals can, you know, bring out a softer side in people, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess I could ask you this. So, like, you were never really an animal person growing up. Our dad didn't allow pets in the house, so we never had one. And then you started, you know, dating your now fiance who has a cat. And I remember being like, Joel, dealing with a cat, that's not going to work. But now you have 2 cats. Mm-hmm. And you're a cat dad and you love them to death. So, you know, do you find that having those pets have kind of made you a little softer?
I guess. I mean, with them, for sure. Yeah, I guess it's kind of like having this little furry animal that you kind of like take care of, but then it's also just like easy companionship. Like it doesn't require as much social battery as like hanging out with other people.
Right.
But then it's also kind of, I guess, appealing to like a sense of caretaking without necessarily like the responsibility of like a baby. But it's like, you know, it's like some people take care of plants, but then it's like, well, you can't play with your plant.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that it made sense for him to connect and relate to a dog more than other people.
Yeah.
Because I think that is like easy for someone to do, even someone as miserable as Melvin.
Yeah. Yeah, that's very true. And the dog ends up liking him more than his owner.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking to myself, man, if I was Simon getting out of the hospital and I'm excited to see my dog and it runs to the guy that I don't like, oh, I couldn't even imagine.
No.
I would be pissed.
And that just makes his depression spiral even further.
Well, of course, it has to.
So you mentioned briefly about Simon getting set up. I feel like we should at least address that part of the movie.
Skeet Ulrich.
Yeah. So who was this guy? Like Skeet Ulrich and his
Jamie Kennedy.
It's like Jamie Kennedy, who I don't even know if he had any lines. Maybe he had 2 lines, which is like 1997. I feel like he was already kind of a thing. Skeet Ulrich and Jamie Kennedy are both in Scream together. Wasn't that also in 1997?
I don't remember the year.
Anyway, they're like hanging out on the corner in New York City, and some guy just pulls up on them and is like, hey, we need you. It's like, oh, this guy's coming back for us again. So I'm like, okay, are these guys male prostitutes?
See, that's kind of what I thought. Scream was in 96, so it was a year before. So you're right. Skeet definitely would be a thing at this time. But the guy says, I thought it was like, well, let me back up. Simon needs a model. That much we know. But the way the guy came through and solicited them, and like when Skeet shows up in Simon's house and Simon turns his back to go get his like paint supplies, Skeet immediately starts to strip down. So I'm like, oh, like he thought he was being solicited for sex. Like that's what I got.
Yeah.
For sure.
And when the guy, this mysterious man who shows up in like a town car to this shady part of New York City, like when he pulls up, they're like looking like, oh, like this guy's
This is
back.
the guy, yeah.
So it's like, oh, so this guy like picks them up and I guess like finds clients who want male prostitutes. But then it's like, how did this person
ends up getting something for Simon?
Connected to Simon?
That wasn't clear.
It wasn't clear to me at all. And I was actually hoping that you picked up on something that I didn't, because I'm like, so, like, was it a setup the whole time, or did Skeet Ulrich just decide to make it a setup?
I thought Skeet decided to when he got there and he saw all the nice things. And it was kind of just like, oh, this guy has things. Because, of course, you know, it's a process to get this done.
Right.
And so...
But then even, like, when they when they get caught, like his friends get caught stealing, and Simon's like, "Yo, like, what's happening? Like, why would you do this?" He looks like super like guilty, and he looks like he like feels super bad about it. So then I'm like, was this his idea or not? Because it felt like his two accomplices
just
were like,
up.
"Yo, like, let's steal this stuff and get out of here." And he was just like standing there, almost like he didn't want to do it. But I'm like, well, wasn't this your plan?
Right. You gave him the address, bro. It almost felt like the reason why, and again, this is not a good excuse, but the reason why he may have felt guilty about it was because at first he's trying to keep Simon's character like out of that room, and then he sees the finished painting. And he stops and look at it, and he's like, man, like this painting. And I'm like, so after you see the nice painting, now you feel bad? That's what it felt like.
Well, I didn't know he was a good artist.
Yeah, like that's what it felt like. But it also was like, that's not a good excuse.
If I knew the art was going to be good, I wouldn't have robbed this place.
And I mean, it was brutal. Like they took a coat rack and was like beating him with it. Like the attack was rough.
It was ridiculous.
Like the way he looked after the attack when he was in the hospital, they turned it into like a comedic moment where it's like, oh, don't look at the mirror. Like, oh, they all had these crazy reactions to his face. But I was like, bro, this is pretty dark. What they did to this man.
Nah, it's crazy. It definitely was crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was trying to make sense of like how the whole setup came about, and it sounds like you don't know either. So
plot holes galore.
Yeah. Which, this movie was like super high lauded.
Bro,
it was nominated for Best Picture. It was nominated for 7 Oscars. They won 2 for Best Actor and for Best Actress. So I'm like, what am I missing here? Because I feel like this movie had a lot of like things that didn't really make a lot of sense. And not to mention, it's a rom-com and the romantic plot line fell flat for me. So I'm like...
And also, what was funny?
The racism? I don't know.
That was the thing. Like, I kept being like, this is supposed to be a rom-com. The romance sucked, and there was no comedy.
Oh, remember when his gay neighbor got beat to a bloody pulp? That was hilarious. I mean, I don't know. There was not very much comedy in this at all. The romance, like you said, didn't really make any sense. And I feel like this was just a movie that was just like, oh, look at Jack Nicholson playing this awful person.
Right.
Wow, what a performance. But it's like, okay... I don't understand what's so great about that. Anybody could have done this.
So at the end, where they have, before they go to the bakery, it's 4:00 in the morning, and they have, these kisses. The first time they kiss, the kiss doesn't work. Like they both pull away.
It doesn't take.
They both pull away, and I was like, "Oh, thank God!"
The kiss
like,
doesn't take.
I was thinking like, "Thank God," because that would be really dumb. I was like, "All right, it didn't work. They tried it, and maybe they'll just remain friends." Okay, but then he's like, "Well, I could do better than that," and then he goes in again, and of course now she's like swept off of her feet, and it's like, oh, and I'm just like, "Wait, what?" And I was blown because I thought for an instant that it was going to end in the way that I wanted it to. And then it turned out that, like, nah, they're going to be together.
Incorrect.
And I was like, but this doesn't. And again, it brought me back to our first episode with You Got Mail. It's like, why are these people together? What motivation do these women have to be with these men?
This one is even worse than
it is worse, for sure.
It's way worse. I mean, You've Got Mail pissed me off. Don't get me wrong. What was my man's name? Tom Hanks and his, he had the bookstore. Fox Books.
Fox.
That's right, Mr. Fox. Yeah, this was even worse. And then it's also like, what happens to Simon? So Simon is just like his roommate now?
Yeah, but now he has motivation. So he'll be able to he'll able to turn out more artwork that will sell, and then gradually his money will come back. But also he and Melvin are cool now somehow. So it'll be fine.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing, right? Why did they become cool? I feel like they became cool because he agreed to take him to Baltimore. After he comes back from the hospital, they kind of start to communicate to each other more civilly basically because they both love this dog.
Yeah.
So then he starts kind of like coming over to see the dog, but then also kind of starts like checking on Melvin. He's asking him questions. He doesn't really know how to cheer him up. But at least he's there and he sits next to him and he lets him vent. And then they go to Baltimore, which the whole idea was that he's going to go visit his parents so he could ask them for money, which he basically advises him to do. He ultimately doesn't ask them for money because he's like, well, I've got my motivation now after seeing Carol's naked back.
Well, not only that, remember the phone call with his mom?
Oh, his mom was like, are you about to ask me for more money?
Like, he called and was like, hey, Mom, like, I'm going to be in town, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, I was in the hospital, like, you and Dad didn't come see me. And she's like, well, yeah, we were going to, but, like, it's like, what? Like, your son was in the hospital clearly for weeks at a time. Like, it was not an overnight visit.
Yeah.
He got assaulted in his house. You know how traumatizing that is? He lost his home. And you couldn't drive down or fly down and see your son. So I feel like at that point, it was kind of just like, yeah, our relationship is actually still trash. And like going up there is really not going to serve my purpose, I think. And then on top of it, yes, his creativity came back. So it's like, why even bother degrading myself by going and asking them for money? Which, I mean, I get. It's like,
he needed money.
I mean,
he knew the relationship was severed before he decided to go up there in the first place. That conversation wouldn't have changed anything.
I don't know, man. I just know he turned around. But as far as him and Melvin are concerned, he's the one that tells Melvin to go to Carol's house at 4:00 in the morning, which I think is terrible advice. Although it paid off here for some reason. He's the one who's like, oh,
because they had to have a happy ending. That's why.
If you want her, you got to go get her. You got to.
Of course.
And I hate that whole like idea of like chasing after the girl. It's like, okay, yes, it's one thing to like pursue someone in a way where it's like, yes, I do want to be with you and I'm serious about you. But when someone's like, don't show up at my house uninvited, don't stalk me, I don't want to see you, lose my number. Like, there's certain things that like you shouldn't be crossing that line. And I think him going over there, it would have just pissed me off. So I didn't like that. But then he says to Simon before he leaves, like, if I was a guy that was that way, like I'd be the luckiest guy alive to be with you or something like that. Like he made a comment that was kind of like, oh, by the way, like, hey, I'm not that homophobic. It was kind of like, if I was, I guess I would date you. So I guess that was like the big apology. And after that, they were just A-okay.
Yes. Yes. That's what we're supposed to believe.
I love you.
I tell you, buddy, I'd be the luckiest guy alive if that did it for me.
The same way with Carol's character, he ends up saying to her that before her, he was not on any medication. And because of her, it makes him want to be a better man.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the line that made her get all boned up. And I was like, okay.
Carol just wanted a man. Like, let's just be honest.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, he was there and available.
He was just there. Yeah, like, there was nothing else about Melvin. At one point before he so rudely suggests that he wanted her to sleep with Simon,
God.
When they're at dinner, she was like about to call him sexy. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
I was like, what's happening here?
Yeah.
Oh, you look so you look really nice. Like, wait, what?
And then,
you were about to call Jack Nicholson sexy
and then he
in 1997?
And then he said to her, like...
It's not Jack Nicholson in 1967. This is Jack Nicholson in 1997.
And then he made a comment about her wearing, like, a house dress or something.
Yes, that's exactly what it was. That was the first offense where she almost walked out. Then she came back, kissed him, and then he made the comment about Simon, and then she actually walked out. He offended her twice. At a dinner that she coerced him to take her out to.
So, oh man.
They made me get a suit and tie, and you came out here in a house dress. I guess not. That's not really fair to me.
Right?
She's like, I try to dress up and look nice. This is what you said? This dude's crazy. But, so here's the thing about Melvin, right? Like, I feel like the movie is trying to show us that, oh, look at this man who's like so horrible to people and he's so grumpy and he's so rude and inconsiderate. But at the end, we see that he's actually builds a nice heart and he does these nice things for Simon and he does these nice things for Carol. But my problem other than the fact that he has ulterior motives throughout this film, is the fact that, okay, he bails these people out when they're desperate. Simon loses his job. Okay, he loses his apartment. Okay, you can come live with me. Carol's son has this chronic illness. Okay, I'll pay for your bills. So it's like when they're like at the end of their rope, he bails them out. But other than that, continues to treat them terribly. And I think for me, I'm just like, I don't know that that's enough. Like, sure, you are this person that did me this like huge, huge favor when I really needed help. And I'm grateful for it. But every time we interact, you make me feel terrible.
Yeah.
I don't know that that's enough, man.
Yeah.
And I definitely don't know that that's enough for me to want to have any sort of relationship with you.
Well, remember, now he's on his medication, so maybe.
So he's going to get better after the movie ends. We don't see any evidence of it.
Yeah, that might happen. I don't know. I don't know. I wasn't a big fan of all of that. It just made me feel. It just didn't feel realistic to me. And also, like, what was his motivation for helping Simon? At least for Carol, it was like he wanted her back at work. But was it because of the dog?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that he had an ulterior motive there. I think he actually wanted to help Simon because, like, basically at the beginning of the movie, he basically doesn't respect or like Simon simply because he's a gay man, like for no other reason. It's like, oh, you're gay, so I don't respect you. And then at the end, he's like, oh, you're gay, but you're still a pretty good guy. And that's supposed to be like the turnaround. Is like he tolerates this man's homosexuality.
Oh God, it's not great.
No, it's not great at all.
It's not great. Dear God.
Before we get into like themes and all that other stuff, there were a couple of like very 90s things that I noticed.
Yep.
One of them was a billboard for Got Milk.
Oh, I didn't see that. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Yo, they were ramming milks down our throats when we were kids. Oh my God.
Yo, they had like every cool celebrity with the milk mustache. Like, you couldn't avoid it. Like, yo, Got Milk. Like, oh, but then it's like, I don't know if that actually made us want to drink milk.
No.
But they tried.
Not to mention, it's always a part of this complete breakfast. The complete breakfast, by the way, is like Eggos, a bowl of cereal, a glass of milk,
an orange,
a glass of orange juice.
An orange and orange juice.
I'm like, who's eating all this food for breakfast? And drinking 2 glasses of things for breakfast.
A glass of milk, milk in your cereal, a glass of orange juice, and orange, and toast.
Yeah.
When am I going to have time to do all this before first period? You kidding me? I'm just going to pour some Lucky Charms and eat it on the way.
I'm going to grab a Pop-Tart.
A
cold Pop-Tart. And just
in the silver wrapper still. Like, grab these Pop-Tarts and be on my way.
That's crazy.
Also, at one point, they pull into a gas station. The gas was $1.13.
Man, if only. The good old days. So for me, I noted it was the mixtape that Melvin made for the road trip.
The burnt CDs.
And I'm like, bro, do you remember back when we had was the radio? And so you were trying to get a particular song on the radio, so you would wait for the DJ to start playing the song. And then it would start, and you would hit record, and you'd be waiting, and it would play through. And then it would get to like the last 20 seconds of the song, and then out of nowhere, it'd be like, all right, Hot 97. And you're like, no, let the song play out. It used to piss me off because you were trying to get the tail end of the song, and they would always come in and cut it off, and then you were just like,
they'd always start talking over the end of the song. And that's even before CDs. That's cassette tapes.
Yeah. I hated it.
The mixed CDs was definitely a vibe, though, especially in the late 90s, for sure.
Yeah.
I know you mentioned the stars in this movie. There were a couple people I noticed were in the movie in like very small roles. Maya Rudolph just shows up as a cop
officer
after he gets assaulted. And I'm just like, oh, okay, I guess she wasn't a comedic actress yet. And then at one point in the restaurant, Wood Harris shows up as one of the busboys.
Yeah, I saw him too.
I don't think either of them had any lines. They definitely weren't famous yet, but I was like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
And then, Wood Harris ends up on The Wire like 3 years later.
Yeah.
So
shout out.
He also did But actually, he also did Paid in Full, which was probably around this time, but definitely not anywhere on the level of a Jack Nicholson, Helen Hunt big picture movie.
Academy Award winner.
Yeah, like this is a way bigger movie than Paid in Full. But I love Wood Harris. That's the man. All right, so what?
Is there any quotes you want to pull out real fast?
There are, but
okay,
yeah.
we can skip past it if you don't want to.
Yeah, there are a few quotes. What did you have?
So for me, it was, "You don't love anything, Mr. Udall," and that's what Simon says to him. And I thought that was a great quote because it was like, no, like this guy literally doesn't know how to love. And there's a scene where we find out that Mr. Udall is actually a very popular writer. He writes these romance novels for women. And there's a scene where he's trying to finish up this particular page and he's trying to describe like what love is and he can't quite get it. He keeps getting this writer's block. And I'm like, oh, like he has an issue with the idea of love and how to love something. And that's why I think having that dog was very important because he loves the dog first before he's able to, quote unquote, love actual people. Right. I don't really buy that part, but that's what they're making us, believe.
Yeah.
All right. You want to go into themes?
Yeah, let's do themes.
All right. You want to go first?
I mean, I had a hard time finding a theme in this movie because I feel like, I struggled to even give the 1-sentence summary at the beginning of the episode. So this is you could probably guess how I feel about this movie already. Wow. But if I were to think about not necessarily what I gained from this movie, but what I think the movie was trying to get me to gain, I think the point of this movie is that even the worst people can have some level of humanity and goodwill inside them if you give them an opportunity to show it, and also if they take the time to find it within themselves. So like this guy is basically, unforgivable for most of the movie, but he is actually trying. We even see a scene where he's like going to his therapist and being like, hey, I need to have sessions again. Because I think he realizes that he's like kind of an awful person. And again, like we talked about Carol giving him chance after chance after chance, which for my money, she really shouldn't have. But if we're to draw something from that, it's that her continuing to give him chances allowed him to finally become his best self.
Okay. So I had kind of two. The first one is, talking about like how you may be able to find unlikely friendships and or relationships because Carol, Simon, and Melvin all had like different things going on in their life, different trauma they were working through, although we didn't really get a chance to see Melvin's trauma too much. But no one would have thought that these three people will become friends, right? But based on this road trip and Melvin's willingness to change, and I say that in quotations, they're able to, form some type of friendship. The second one is bringing back the title. And so one of the facts here is that they had alternate titles of old friends, which I think doesn't work because no one here is an old friend. Bright Side of Life.
Always look at the bright side of your life.
Rock Bottom. And then they settled on As Good as It Gets. And there's a quote where Simon says to the people in the waiting room for his therapist's office, what if this is as good as it gets? And thinking about that title, I think it is the idea of understanding that like where you are in life doesn't mean you necessarily have to stay there. And learning to do what you can to make the best of the life that you've been given, which he ends up doing by, of course, taking his medication and being nicer to others. But if I wanted to give you my honest take on this movie,
okay,
this is what I wrote. This is a horror film they tried to disguise as a rom-com. The main character engages in animal abuse, at the very least, animal neglect. He makes racist, sexist, and homophobic comments throughout the movie. He stalks his favorite waitress and only takes medications after she said she doesn't want to sleep with him. He then compels her to take an overnight trip in exchange for paying for her son's medical care. He plans to tell her to have sex with a gay man in order to try to turn him. He then breaks into her apartment at 4 o'clock in the morning, offers a lazy line about trying to be a good man, and now she feels so trapped. And in an attempt to ensure that her son gets the care that he needs and that her mother gets off of her back, she settles for this homophobic, racist, and sexist man who also happens to have OCD. Poor Simon is attacked from working from home. Simon is attacked while working from home. He loses his financial security. He has no real family, and he's forced to live with his homophobic neighbor.
I mean,
that's how I saw the film. This is a horror movie.
Yeah, I mean, those are all the things that happened.
It's not like, to me at the end I was just like, I don't see how
it's over.
Yeah, okay. I felt like
it took us 2.5 hours to get here.
I just wasn't happy. if you couldn't tell, I wasn't happy watching this movie.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's just like, bro, like what? I just don't get why this movie was even. How did this movie get nominated for Best Picture? Like, bro, I'm not seeing it. And the thing is, I've seen this movie before, at least once before, maybe twice, and I remember being a little underwhelmed by it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think like at least the first 30 minutes is kind of just like the shock factor of how offensive this guy is.
Yeah.
And you're just like, wow, like, where's this movie going to go?
Mm-hmm.
But then I feel like after the shock value wears off, the movie just gets less entertaining. And it doesn't really go anywhere from that perspective. To your point, there is very little actual comedy unless you just find people being offensive to be funny.
Some people do.
Which is the only actual humor in this movie. So, I don't know. I don't really understand what was so funny or romantic about it. There's something else I wanted to mention, though, when you're talking about the theme, about, like, always look at the bright side of your life, basically. Always look at... there's a part in the movie where he's basically talking about, like, when they're driving to Baltimore and Simon's complaining about the trauma from his parents. Mm-hmm. And he's like, yeah, I have trauma too, and I'm miserable, and you're miserable because of your trauma. And honestly, like, the reason that we're miserable is not necessarily just because we had bad luck, but it's really just the fact that we're pissed off that other people have had good luck. And he talks about, like, for other people, they don't have these stories. It's just good times and noodle salad.
What makes it so hard is not that you had it bad, but that you're that pissed that so many others had it good.
And I thought that was like a very interesting concept. It's probably pretty short-sighted, but it's like, you know, are you actually upset about your lot in life, or are you upset that other people don't have to deal with it? And I think that maybe, you know, again, this is me like kind of speculating because the movie doesn't do a great job of telling me this, but I guess we're led to believe that this is the reason why he's so grumpy and miserable. Mm-hmm. Is like he feels like he got dealt a bad hand, and seeing other people enjoy their lives just makes him more pissed off. Because, hey, why don't I have these good things that other people seem to have? Yeah,
I definitely got that from what he was saying during that car ride, but it's also like, bro, you are extremely successful writer. This is like his 60-something book. Like,
yeah.
So it's like you live in this super
nice
expensive apartment with, you know. So it's like, okay, you complaining about your life, rich, straight white guy. Like, okay, it's like it just was very tone deaf for me.
Yeah,
I wasn't feeling bad for Melvin at all. Sorry, bro.
No. Yeah, definitely not.
Sorry, bro. For Melvin. All right. You ready for a rating?
Sure.
Your face.
I had a pretty busy week. I was telling Andrene before we started recording, so I actually had to chunk this movie to get through it. Part of it is because it's 2.5 hours long, but also just I had a crazy week. So I think having sat down with this movie and then coming back and finishing the second half of it, I don't know. I feel like I was almost waiting to see where it went when I saw the last hour. And then I feel like it was actually even more underwhelming than the first. So it's just kind of
good.
You know what I'm saying? It's like you're watching a 2-part series and you're okay, I kind of want to see where this goes. And then the second part stinks.
You know, it's like Kill Bill and Kill Bill 2.
I don't even remember Kill Bill 2.
I rewatched it after our Patreon episode. Bro, it's not worth it.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah.
So then it's just I feel wait, what? I'm almost pissed that I even finished this. But yeah, I don't really know what this movie is meant to be about, or what is the story that they're really trying to tell us, because even the theme that I came up with about finding the humanity in people, I just don't feel like it gives that message in a very clear way, and I don't think we see enough of Melvin actually trying until he feels like he can get with this cute waitress. And then even his attempts to change or do anything to better himself are all kind of lazy. So I don't know. This movie just kind of fell flat for me. I'm going to give it a 2.
Okay, well, I agree with you. This character, there's just so many things that he does throughout the movie. We didn't even talk about the fact that he tries to talk to her son about manners or something, and it's bro, why are you even talking to my son? Everything about him was just... She
cusses him out for that too, but again, continues to give him chance after chance.
Yeah, it doesn't... I mean, the big thing about the 90s movies that we're seeing in a lot of these films is, especially in these rom-coms, is that the women end up settling for these men, right? If the man is if the man is the main character and he is pining over this woman, A, he's going to get her, and B, he's going to offer her nothing in return. At least in this movie, he is offering her the health and well-being of her son. So at least there's something here.
But that's a transaction.
Okay. But some people get married for transactions. Some people get married for money, I mean...
It's not romantic.
It's... Okay, that's true. That's true. But yeah, I mean, I feel like in a lot of these movies, it's just kind of oh, he's the main character. He wants this girl. He's going to get the girl. And you're right. It wasn't even really clear that he necessarily wanted her.
It seemed like she wanted him more than he wanted her.
Yeah, which, again, why? I don't know. I just don't know. But my answer is going to be a 2. I just feel like it was very long. I did get through it, but it also was just what am I watching? Why did any of this happen? And again, why is his OCD making him this way? I didn't understand a lot of the motivations. And, I'm not watching this again.
So I think we can safely say this movie is not as good as it gets.
Oh,
all right. Well, let us know what you thought of this Jack Nicholson banger, apparently, according to the Academy. You can reach us via email at rewindrewatch1990s@gmail.com with your thoughts and comments, as well as movie suggestions. You can also leave us your thoughts and comments on social media, as well as directly on your streaming app of choice. There have been a few people who have left us comments on Spotify, which we appreciate. Always love to see comments on our social media platforms, as well as in our DMs as well. Tell your friends about us. And
don't forget to check out our Patreon if you do want to support the show, and also if you'd like to get